Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Prison Architect. As it stands right now, we have a bit of a problem. We have all of these maximum security prisoners. We shouldn't have all of these maximum security prisoners. That's basically the problem. We shouldn't have these guys. Someone somewhere is laughing themselves silly, thinking about how these guys were all sent here. We can't handle it. It's a nightmare. It's a disaster. This guy's got his butt out. That's great. I always love, this is a weird sentence out of context, but they do, if you ever look at them in the shower, they do have a little crack. It's just there. You can see it. It was just there. They do. That's true. They actually, that is a thing. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Before we deal with the maximum security problem that is ongoing, I want to come over to our protective custody prison, and I would like to do just a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to go to our deployment and make sure that this area is staff only, which it absolutely is, and that everything else is staff only as well. I would kind of like to assign a guard out here, just pretty much at all times, just in case someone tries to make a run for it. I want to make sure we have a guard that can maybe catch them. There's no guarantees that they're going to catch them. In fact, more often than not, the guards don't catch them. And obviously, between shifts, we might have guards leaving before the new one arrives. It can be a whole thing, but I just want to make sure we have that bit of security out there, because I want some of these prisoners coming down this way. Now, if you've seen the last episode, which this is a series, you probably should have. If you haven't, frankly, it's on you. Your homework is to go and catch up. There is a convenient playlist on the channel for everything that we do. But in the last episode, we basically got rid of the need for all of these offices, and we moved all of my administrative staff down to this facility, which is both our prisoner intake, our food, our deliveries, our reception, and then obviously our administrative facility, because we have all these offices and we have some security, and it's a great place. It's working really well. It's great. I said it's great twice, now 3 times. It's great. Thankfully, because we built that, we have a bunch of empty space that I want to turn into visitation, because the protective custody prisoners don't currently have visitation. So I want to go in and demolish these. Well, actually, you know what? No, we don't want to demolish those walls. We want to demolish these walls. And we also want to go in and basically dismantle all of the objects in these spaces, including the doors. So everything in there we can get rid of, we can prioritize, we can clear this out super, super quickly, or at least it should be super, super quickly, because we do happen to have something like 100 workmen. So there we go. It's going really nicely, which we love to see. The next thing I want to do is measure this side, which is 15. So if I was to go to 8, right about there, and put a wall across this way, and then put a wall, actually, no, we don't need a wall there. We do need some wall right there. That's for sure. We can also do a little bit of flooring. We can do some blue carpet there. We can do some blue carpet there. We are going to need some doors as well, because again, the idea is that this is going to be visitation. So let's say our visitors are going to come in on this side. I suppose that'll sort of work. We can let them in on this side as well, just over on the right. And then if we go to objects and we search for visitor table, it's going to be a little bit cramped. It's not exactly ideal, but it should work out. And actually what I could do is a little something like this, so that technically, oh, you know what? You know what I'm realizing I could do here? I could, if I wanted to, instead of doing the visitor table, I could do the visitor booth and properly keep them separated. We could have 2 visitation spaces in this room, 2 in this room. We could probably get rid of half of this wall. Over on this side, is it a similar story? It isn't necessarily. We'd have to make some changes to the general layout. But that is possible over here. I think because they're in protective custody, I'm going to give them a shot, and we're going to see how this goes. Might be a terrible idea, but we will be okay, I think. We'll manage. Let's go ahead and put the visitor table for this side just here, and let's do just here. These visitation spaces are going to be a bit bigger than they need to be, which is honestly okay. We're just repurposing some offices, so it's not exactly made to measure when it comes to visitation here, but that's okay. All right, so this is looking pretty good, but there are just a couple of things we still need to do. We need to make sure that these are protected custody only. We need to make sure that this central corridor is a bit more secure. So I think what I'd like to do is go in here, and I think I'm going to double up on the jail doors again. I really like the way these open down here. It does mean that we need 2 servos, but honestly, that's okay. It's all right. I think it looks neat, and I think it's worth it. So we'll do things sort of that way. I might go so far as moving these staff doors just... do I want to move them back a little bit? I'm going to move them to here, actually. So this one over on the right, we're going to have to move it again. But I think I will put some slightly more secure doors down here as well, just to make sure that we don't have someone sort of going through this door, quickly breaking through the visitor door and the staff door and making a run for this exit. Because this exit, this entrance, whatever you want to call it, it's open all the time. We have people coming and going all the time. So I think it just makes sense that maybe we do some large jail doors here, and that maybe we do throw a couple of door servos onto to that as well. And I have to wonder, at what point should I put another door control system in here? We seem to be doing fine. It doesn't seem to be the end of the world. It doesn't seem like the doors are not opening in time, but at some point we're definitely going to need to do that. Also, now that I think about it, probably not a terrible idea to get some kind of metal detectors just here, because we will have people going through this space. We will have prisoners going up and down in here. I might even put them over on the sides as well, just to be extra safe, just in case for some reason a prisoner goes through that visitor door. We can kind of make sure that we're searching them before they go too far. Even though they can't get to the cells without going through at least one other set of metal detectors, hopefully this way we kind of ensure that they're really not going anywhere. Anyway, I think this is looking pretty solid. We have our visitors only area kind of going around this, which I did just read is staff and visitors and civilians only, so we won't have any prisoners going through there whatsoever. We do have protected only in the middle, which is great. And reading that, what does it say about civilians? Anything? Doesn't look like it says anything. That's totally fine. What we will do, just before we go too much further with this, is go to patrols, and I think the way I'm going to try and secure these spaces is just with a little patrol that sort of goes back and forth a little something like this. So we have one going that way, and then we'll have a little magenta patrol that sort of comes down, I guess, like this and around this way, just to make sure that we have at least one guard going back and forth at pretty much all times. So from, I want to say 7 in the morning, I don't know if we need them there at 7 in the morning, but from 8 o'clock onwards, we are going to make sure that we have some guards that are watching over these spaces, doing what they need to do, and generally making sure that the prisoners aren't causing too much chaos with their visitation. So that should be everything sorted out. If we go to rooms and we search for Viz, we can say that this is visitation and that this is visitation. And that should now mean, assuming everything works, which it does, that our protective custody inmates can now have visitors. We can have 4 visitation things going on at once, and that should mean that they are a little bit happier. Now, they don't have spirituality, which isn't good. That is kind of like the big thing that a few of them are looking for, as well as luxuries. That's, I mean, family is one of them. I guess we do have these extra rooms, right? So if we were to have a look at a chapel, it has to be 6 by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course it's 5. Of course it is. Okay. Of course it is. I don't know of any way to necessarily fix that without going into bureaucracy and potentially getting small cells, which would be an option. I don't necessarily want to do that, though, because it is going to upset my prisoners. So spirituality is something that I don't think they're going to be getting their hands on. But if we have a little bit of a look in here for a shop, it just has to be 4 by 4. So we could say, maybe we have a shop in here. Maybe that's how we do things, is we get ourselves a little shop. We can get ourselves a little shop front or 2 of them right here if we wanted to. Or I'm pretty sure there is isn't there like a shop? Yeah, shop counter. A counter for commercial transactions which does not require a wall to be placed. Do I want to do the counter instead? I sort of do. We haven't really done anything with the counters. So let's do 2 counters right there. That seems kind of nice. We can do some shop shelves in here, which I realize is a really fun. Shop shelves is a really nice. It's a really. I don't know why that's sticking out to me, but it's a really fun, like, just bit of, like, the sounds. It's the sh part of it. I want to hear. I wish I could have heard Sean Connery saying shop shelves. That was terrible. We'll do this. We'll do this. Let me get rid of those for a second. Let me put a table right there. And we'll do a shop. We'll do some shop counters right there. That should be totally fine for our shop and our shop shelves. I need to stop. I need to stop. It is too early in the video for this kind of nonsense. Oh, now this is interesting. Apparently we do need a shop front on here regardless. So unfortunately, these guys are gonna have to be dismantled. This table is gonna have to be moved, I guess, to sort of this spot is totally fine for it. And if we go in here, we can just get some shop fronts. And I think I will just do 2 of them because we can. So we'll go ahead and get those installed. Hopefully nice and quickly. Maybe move that down just a little bit closer, and maybe 1 more shop shelf just for free time. Just right there. Right there is fine. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's get this up and running. This will hopefully help my my protective custody inmates be a little bit happier, and it'll give them some luxuries, which should deal with that particular need that they have. They are over here being fed as well. Let's see, what are we looking at here? So I don't need to see that screen. I do need to see this one. So bladder, bowels, food, exercise, luxuries. They do have a yard now, which is great. Family is kind of a big one, and spirituality. So spirituality is basically the only thing that we're missing here. Also, what are all these? Oh, these are visitors that have been turned away because they go through the reception and they get found to have something they shouldn't have. That's honestly fine. That's not a problem whatsoever. Anyway, it is now work time, so we have a couple of prisoners here in the shop. I have no idea how effective it's going to be because there's 2 working in there, there's 2 in laundry, there's 2 in the cleaning cupboard. How many does that leave us? 2 and 2 is what, 6? So that leaves us 7 protected custody. No, it doesn't. It leaves us 5 because we have 11 of them. So there's 5 prisoners that can go to the shop during work hours, which I guess is fine. It'll hopefully help them out, right? Hopefully. I don't think I can schedule when the shop's open. You know what? It doesn't matter. We've got visitation for them. We've got them a shop. That should make them happier, which is fantastic. Now, we do need to try and make these guys a bit happier. Now, looking at them, they're all starting to starve a little bit, which is kind of concerning. I don't love that. I'm not a fan of the fact that they're all kind of starving. So if I end your punishment, the cuffs come off, which is good. Let me just end all of your punishments. Yours apparently didn't end. So what I'd like to do is give you lockdown, then end it. That's fine. All of these guys are kind of terrible people. And I'm not ending these punishments because I feel like they deserve to have their punishments ended, but more so because I at least feel they deserve to eat. And I don't want them all to die, because that is absolutely something that could happen here. There are still a few that have cuffs on. Yeah, you, for example, I need to lock down, then end it. And then we need to end as well. You will kind of let you out, and then you as well. We missed this one. Let's end your punishment. And they're already fighting. You've got to be kidding me. Why? You have, seriously? Okay, you know what? That guy, serious, like I'm trying to get him food, you know? I'm trying to let him get food, and he's like, nah, put the cuffs back on. Oh, this game. Okay, so I want to start working on a potential maximum security prison, and I've decided it is going to be up on this island. In the last episode, I think I mentioned that I didn't want to put it right next to protective custody, but if we're doing our job properly, that shouldn't really matter. And also, this island is just too small for what I want to try and do here. So the way I see this sort of working is that I want to build roughly in the middle here. I want to go and just place a bunch of sand because we're going to have the that's not even in the middle. Slightly more this way. Is that more? Is that better? That's a little better. That's much better, actually. I want to put it there because the access to this island is going to be from the south. And I think it is just going to be a direct connection to this staff facility. I think we can sort of get away with that. We would maybe want to do a bridge here or sort of back here. We could connect it over here, but I think that's going to look silly. The reason I'm doing this is mostly because I think it's going to be the quickest way to get to this island instead of having to go sort of through here, up and around the minimum security prison, around the protected custody prison, and then to maximum security. It does mean that at some point, if I build something here like Supermax or Death Row, we will have to go around that. We'll have to make some renovations, but honestly, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. What I would like to see is where exactly this lines up down here. So if I go to there, where does that line up? That is so close to being in that corner. That is such a shame. Okay. Well, we're going to have to renovate this at some point anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter too much if the paths don't line up exactly right now. So we'll just do something like this. We can clear our plans because we don't really need them right now. And I would like to prioritize building all of this. I already have that, which is great. And I suppose what we want to do is get ourselves a nice door. And I think in this case, I think I'll just use the normal one for the time being. I think that's probably fine. That probably works out pretty well. That'll give us access to all of this, which of course I am going to be turning into running tracks. That's how we're going to try and get up there nice and quickly, is with running tracks. It should make life a little easier. So let's do, I'm going to do my bridge as well. I'm going to do the bridge. We're going to get the nice little wooden sort of perimeter around this thing because I think it looks better. And you know, as silly as this might look, it is working. And that's kind of all I need it to do. I also get some trees out of this, which is lovely. So I guess that brings us to this island and planning time once again. Now, I think with this place being a maximum security, we do want to have some kind of decent little entrance down here. I think we'll sort of take from protective custody. We'll have like a little yard here that we can enter through. So let's do our 4 across there. Let's maybe go 6 this way and about 6 this way. That is 16. Let's do like a big 16 by 16 courtyard at the entrance here. I do want to have some walls sort of coming in like this. In fact, if I could do this properly, I could have I might do 2 yards for this place just to try and split the prisoners up a little bit. But I really like the idea that this corridor, this central channel would be visible from the yards, at least partially. So if we kind of double this part up, this can be like a perimeter, like a set of perimeter walls or something like that, so that they kind of can't get through. This can be our channel for some running tracks. We could take out these parts and then say that I don't care what that looks like. I don't want to hear it. We could then say that this is like a little 13 by 13 yard and that this is also a little 13 by 13 yard. So, and then these would be fences so that you can't, like, the prisoners can see into here. Not that it changes anything in prison architects, but I like that idea quite a lot. I think it's kind of interesting. So that's, I guess, sort of how we're going to do that. We'll take this part out. And again, that'll be sort of our little perimeter space. And that should work. I might go a little bit larger in the yards just in case, like maybe sort of 15 by 13. just because I think it looks maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now, it is worth keeping in mind, we don't need a reception here. We don't handle prisoner intake at this facility. It is handled down in this reception now. So this whole thing, this entire space is going to be for escorting guards escorting prisoners into their cells, but it's also going to be it's also going to be for civilians and any teachers, so they might get spotted by the prisoners as well, which could be very intimidating. But that says to me that the one thing we probably want to do is have our visitation and our classrooms and things that require sort of outside influence, I guess. We want to have those relatively close to the entrance. So having these yards here is certainly a choice, but I think what we do from there is they kind of come through this space, and I think we do a little corridor here, and I think we do a little corridor here. And I want to say that's going to be space for visitation. Although saying that, I know that this is going to be 13 across in the middle because it was 15 for the walls. So that says to me we're not necessarily going to have the room I would want for visitation, but we can do this. So that would be 1 visitor booth, that would be 2, that would be 3. We can do 1, 2, and 3 on this side, which is going to give us 6 visitor booths in total, which is totally fine, I suppose. I think on this side we'll do the same. I think we'll have visitation on both sides. So again, we're kind of splitting up the prisoners. We're not putting all of them in one room at any one time. And this little corridor space here is simply going to be for visitors to get into visitation. So this wall is the only one that is going to be a fence, right? So those orange walls are fences. This wall maybe is, well, no, it's not. This is going to be outside. This is going to be outside. This will be outside, and then everything around them will be inside. And then this will be a perimeter wall. So a lot of this will be, it'll be fine. It'll make sense when I do it. It's a video, you know, progression, blah, blah, blah. We'll get there. Let's do, how do I want to do this? I think visitor entrance can be there and there. We will probably have access at the ends of these corridors for staff, but not visitors, and that'll be fine. We can do, I guess, prisoner access up here and here as well. And again, that'll be fine. They can sort of filter through and do their thing, and that should be okay. And I suppose while we're here, let's just bring this this perimeter wall out a little bit further. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to put around these yards, although I suppose they need a way down to it. So we would want to have a corridor at least there with our sort of perimeter wall coming out around that. Yeah, that should be fine. That should totally work out. Now, I will say, I kind of like the idea. I was going to get away from doing just one big central corridor for this entire thing, because that's basically how we built this extension to our medium security prison. It's part of how we built this space, and it's obviously kind of how we built this entire staff kind of admin facility down here. But the more I look at this, the more I think one big central corridor could be really interesting, and it could be really, it could make designing this relatively easy, at least for the amenities and the workspaces and all of that stuff that prisoners are going to be needing. Because my thinking here was, if prisoners are coming through here, well, actually, now that I think about it, this central corridor can exist the whole way to the cell block, which I kind of want to put up here. And we have these side corridors, so maybe we have the central corridor as a way into the prison, but you have to go deep into the prison before you get to the cell block and before you can get access to everything else. That might be how we do this. So in theory, we would have a corridor here, and that is how the prisoners would be getting to visitation, which I guess is fine. We could then do something like, what is that, 15 by... We could do 15 by 15 and have that be a workshop. Over on this side, we could do 15 by 15 and have that be a chapel, I guess, is an option for that one. We could have that be some kind of chapel. I think that's totally fine. We could do something similar. How much space have we got? We've got quite a bit. We could do like another 15 by 15 here and have that be our canteen. I think I'm all right with that. which would mean that this is coming up this way. This perimeter wall is coming up this way. We had a little gap down there. But what I'm thinking as well is maybe we take away a little... actually, we'll keep that there. The perimeter wall could sort of go away. We could have our kitchen for this place be right about there. It doesn't need to be huge. And then the perimeter wall just sort of goes out and around this. And this is going to help this place not just be a big square. So there is separation between the canteen and the kitchen, which I think is good. We will have like staff doors for the kitchen and staff doors, or maybe not a staff door, but just regular doors into the canteen here. So what we would do is a door here and a door here, and that's canteen access. A door here and a door here for workshop access, and then sort of an extra little secure corridor here for access to our visitation, which I think makes sense. Although looking at this, it might actually make sense to do parole rooms down here before I get too carried away. Now, parole rooms on the inside, I think had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5, which means we want to do 7 by 7 for the walls. I don't want to go down there. 7 by 7 for the walls on this. So if we just if we get rid of those doors for a second, we can do this, which is 8 by 8. Or we could do 8 by 7, I guess. We'll go for a bit of a slightly squashed thing there. So we could do 2 parole rooms right there. We can do 2 over on this side as well. And then we'll just get our doors, I guess, here and here. We'll do the same thing on this side. And again, that sort of keeps all of those things in that general area. The only problem I have with this is how access is going to work. I didn't think about that. Did not think about that. Okay, I think I see a way to do this, actually. So we need access to these spaces for both prisoners and visitors. So I think the way we do it is we change this corridor in the middle. And so it is now going to be accessible from the middle here. So our visitors come in, and then they go to either the parole room or they go to visitation. The prisoners now cannot come down this way, which I think is fine. So they can come down and in here and into visitation. That should totally work out. That'll keep our visitors and our prisoners mostly separated. The only difference is we also need a corridor up here, but that's totally fine. Okay, so this is a lot of construction that we're going to have to do, and it is going to put our yards really far away from where the cells are going to go, which might be a problem. I am thinking this is going to be our chapel, so it is essentially going to be opposite the workshop, which I think is okay. We are going to have a cleaning cupboard and a laundry room down here. We'll have our canteen and our kitchen. We can have our, again, workshop right there, parole, visitation, yard. That should be most of everything, although we will need a common room for the prisoners, which I'd like to just double check. There's no minimum size on that, which is good. So that's going to make my life a little bit easier. Okay. Am I missing anything? A shop. I'm missing a commissary. Okay. In that case, let's go to these spaces and say, I don't remember how big the commissary had to be. Let's do 15 by 7 there and 15 by 7 there. That'll be commissary, common room. Should be totally fine. We'll put some doors there just to kind of make things a bit more secure. And then this is where I want to open up into our cell block, essentially. Now, measurement-wise, I hadn't really thought about this part, but we would want to do 5 by 6 here. We would want to do 5 by 6 here and 5 by 6 here, which is going to give us a bit of a weird space. So we'll shuffle them over like this, which will kind of set them in the middle of that area, which I guess is fine. We can do sort of the same thing over here. And again, that's not quite the right size. That's what's going on there. So that's something, I guess. I don't necessarily love it, but it's something. We can bring that back, I suppose, and continue the cells out that way. But the way I'm looking at doing this, so this is what? 13 by 6. So on this side, we do 13 by 6 again. And up here, we can do 13 by... That's not 13 by 6, but it was close. 13 by 6 again. And we'll just start to sort of stack the cells a little something like this. And this will let me put doors between like these guys and kind of have that be a block. I suppose I could go a little further this way and just extend things out so we kind of get, I mean, if we consider this corridor a block, that's 10 prisoners on, you know, in those cells. I think that's probably okay. And you know, I think for now this is fine. This is room for 30 maximum security prisoners, which really isn't much, and I'm keenly aware of the fact that it's really not much. But I don't want to spend the next 2 hours just staring at this game as things get built. I would like to start moving maximum security prisoners around a little bit. We do have room over here for 3 staff bathrooms. That's something that's going to be important. And I was thinking in here is going to be a staff room. And then obviously commissary and common room, I think I want to just take away from those a little bit, because what we can do is build a little sort of utility closet here. And this is where we can put something like a hot water boiler, which is going to be fantastic. And then we also happen to need somewhere for our power production, which is going to be very important as well. So how exactly do I want to go about doing that? I guess power production arguably could just be its own separate building, which I'm not against doing. So let me clear out a little bit of this space and see what we can do for power production. I think this could be sort of interesting. If we do maybe here, this would need to be, I want to say 7 by 7 for our power plant. We could do 7 by 7 again for water and another water boiler, just in case we happen to need it. And that's probably about everything. So we could do our power generation out this way. Although looking at this, I actually kind of want to move it a little further in. So what is this, 7 by 13? Let's move it to here instead. So 7 by 13, we put a wall across the middle. And then we will do the perimeter wall around it. It's just that this is going to be sort of its own little standalone building, and I think that's totally fine. I also kind of want to do the same thing with an armory and a security room, because I think that's going to be beneficial to us. So let's get a door here and here. That'll be our utilities. And then over this way, I guess we do something similar with the armory and you know, security and whatnot. So the simple way to do it, probably, actually we need a kennel as well now that I think about it. So let's do just a big old building here, and that should be fine. Security doesn't need to be huge, which is also fine. So we'll do, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I like the idea of this being like a little building they go into and have a corridor on. So what is that? That is 9 by 7. That should be fine for security. We could do 9 by 7 for a kennel as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14 dogs in there. And then we can sort of bring a security thing down just a little bit. It doesn't need to be huge. To about there should be all right. And then we'll sort of go across here. We'll take this out. We'll have our perimeter wall go out and around it. And we will want to have some way of getting these guys probably into the facility a little quicker than having, well, down here's not that far. We'll figure it out. It'll be okay. We'll figure it out. That'll be our security thing. That'll be totally fine. This is a lot of construction. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So how do I want to get started? Actually, I think I do know. I know how I want to get started. I want to get started with the running tracks, because that is going to make my life so much easier. It's going to make it possible for my workers to get around here nice and quickly as they start building the foundations. So all of these running tracks need to go in here. And then I think for the buildings out here, so for our security building and our utilities building, we could maybe use these classy walls with the green stripe. It just seems sort of interesting. It seems different. It seems kind of fun, and that's something I kind of want to go for there. We do need to put perimeter walls around a bunch of this, and that is going to be an absolute nightmare, because that's going to mean getting rid of so many trees to just make that happen. I'm really not looking forward to that part of this construction, but we'll figure it out, is what we'll do. We will absolutely get there. For now, I do want to prioritize clearing this out and building that building. I want to, you know, get rid of this as well and get that building in there, because what we can do is get our main utility things in here ahead of time. We can get security in here ahead of time, and we can start to just prepare for when I inevitably have to lay several miles of pipe. Basically, we're gonna get ready. Why are there paramedics? Why have we automatically called what? Where? What's, oh, that would, right, yes, no, that makes sense. Why are you all starving? You have a need for food, I understand that. I'm very confused about this, because I do notice that they're not going in here. If we look at deployment, we do have a custom sector set up here that should let them get down into this space. Mid-sec, max-sec, that's fine. Mid-sec, max-sec, mid and max, mid and max, mid and max. Why are they not able to eat? That's what I don't quite understand. Regime, maximum security. So they're all the same in terms of the regime that they have. I don't understand why they can't eat. It's really odd. It's really, really odd, and I feel like they're all gonna die. It's really, really strange. I don't get it at all. Wait, is it like a logistics thing? Is it a food distribution thing? It is a food distribution thing. Ah, here we are. If I do that, I mean, they're all starving currently, which is not good. Hold on. Are they gonna go get food? Hey! Crisis averted. I mean, probably not. Some of them, no, they are getting food. Some of them are still starving. Yeah, some of them are still starving. That's, oh, why? Actually, you know what? I kind of get what. Wait, why did you pick a fight with them? You idiot. All right. Yeah, so there's like one or two of them still starving, but it looks like the doctors are kind of dealing with it. So I think that's crisis averted. We probably don't need the paramedics anymore. So I'm going to get rid of them. Oh, we have 3 deaths today. How did this happen? What happened? Starved to death. Oh boy. Starved to death. And where's the other one? Where? What happened to you? Starved to death. Okay. Well, I mean, look. We solved most of the problem. And also, in case you're wondering, the game decided to call the paramedics back. I don't really know what it's expecting them to do, but it decided to bring them. I'm gonna get rid of them again. We don't need the paramedics right now. It's not really something they can solve. It's something I had to solve, and I think I've done it. Anyway, let's, given that this is a facility that's gonna have guns in it, I feel like going with secure doors makes the most sense. We could do remote doors, we could do secure doors. We could do the solitary doors. I don't really know. I don't know if there's much of a difference in these. A door designed for solitary cells featuring a food flap. Guards delivering food may pass the tray through the door without the need to enter the cell. Does this one not have a food flap? I guess it doesn't. Let's do the solitary doors. Those look kind of interesting. We can use door servos to get all of these open. They seem nice and secure, which is kind of what we want. Over this way, I'm a little bit less concerned about it, so we'll just use our, I guess, the green staff doors for this space. Should be totally fine. And then I think once those doors get installed, these buildings are pretty much good to go, which is lovely. Do we have a tunnel? We do have a tunnel. We have several tunnels. Let me just get rid of those as well. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. We have our power connection. We have all of the max capacitors that we could ever need, which is fantastic news. We just need to start spending a ridiculous amount of money on the rest of this place. So I think what I'd like to do is have the perimeter of this building. Oh, now what do I want it to be made out of? We are going to be using the max sec walls for the cells. They are $100 per square. Now, we have a lot of money. We have almost $300,000, but I think I might use the white walls on this because we used brick for everything else. We used concrete for this one, which is much cheaper. I think we use the white. And then we'll accent it with this nice strong orange in a bunch of different places. So I guess very simply, we get started down here and we get started here, since those are going to be inside of the prison. We can do this corridor as well, and we'll need to make sure we do across here. And then I think we'll build about as far as there. And that should be, that's a lot of construction. That's an awful lot of construction. I think what we might also want to do is go in here, and I'm just going to place down, roads are 10 per square. I'm going to place down some roads here just to clear all of those trees out so that I can put my perimeter walls in here once that's done. Okay, so this is starting to come together really, really nicely. We do have a bunch of electrical cable that needs installed, a bunch of pipes that need to go in here. That includes the hot water pipes. And so I think what I'm going to do is let my workers just go ahead and do all of that for the time being, because I want to come over this way and take a bit of a look at our protective custody, because as it stands right now, we're down to 9 people in protective custody. We do have a somewhat regular intake of prisoners. And so my thinking is we should have a look at intelligence, we should look at informants, and we should activate you, we'll activate you, and we'll activate you. And while we're in the neighborhood, let me actually just grab you as well, because that seems, I don't know, you can never have too many confidential informants as far as I'm concerned. We have another one up here as well, so let me just grab you, and that'll be fantastic. Do we have anyone in here that I could grab? We don't, but one of them is in solitary, which is not exactly ideal. But I guess what we'll do is activate anyone that's not suspicious. And the reason I'm doing this very simply, as we've done before, is, well, this reason right here. We have someone that's a snitch. So you are going over to protective custody because we don't want anyone murdering you. Looking down this way, we have another snitch. So you are also going to go to protective custody. And I believe that's everybody. Yeah, just 2 new targets that can move into this whole facility over here, and that'll keep them nice and safe. It'll hopefully stop them from being murdered, although, as I've talked about before, it's entirely possible that the other protective custody inmates will decide to do something about it. You never know. It is possible. Now, actually, just while we're in intelligence, I also want to look at gangs and see how we're looking right now. We do have 3 of them. We have 8 members in Red Gang. We have 3 members in Green Gang. We have 8 members in Blue Gang. And there is a lot of misconduct between Red and Blue. Red Gang has this cell, and this cell. We have Blue right there. We don't have any gang activity down here in MinSec, which is great news. And we don't have any gang activity over here in protected security or custody either. So that's not so bad. And it doesn't look like any of the gangs have actually claimed any territory either. I think they would need more members to claim some of these yards, which again is good. So at least for the time being, gang activity is doing okay. Let's see. Boiling point. What exactly is the problem here? So this is, they can't satisfy their needs. That's a lot of prisoners, which is problematic. Temperature is fine, I guess. Room quality is fine, I guess. It's average for a lot of the cells. It's not particularly special, but that's okay. This yard, though, is apparently terrible. That's interesting. It's a 2 out of 10, so that yard's not great. This yard up here is a 3 out of 10, which is also not particularly good. This one's a 4 out of 10, and this one over here is a 1 out of 10. So yeah, my yards could be better. I don't think these ones are going to be better, but they all could be, and that's what's important, right? They could be better. They're not gonna be. but they could be. Okay, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but it's, with how much building I've done in this game recently, I feel like I just need to get this off my chest. There is the weirdest bug in Prison Architect, and it's been in this game forever. It's been in it for as long as I can remember, and I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong. I really have no idea, but it really only seems to apply to utilities. So your electrical cables, your large pipes, your small pipes, your hot water pipes, and it's basically, so I went in here and I laid out all of this pipe and I said, oh, we'll go across here with a bunch of the small pipes. We'll go across here with a bunch of the small pipes. And you'll notice on that line, there's one missing. Now, when I placed these, I did that. I painted in the whole line. I painted this line on the left as well. There's one missing there. I painted this line at the top. There's two missing there. And the line on the right, there's one missing there. For some reason, this game, for the longest time, for as long as I can remember, has frequently forgotten just a handful of the utilities that you go to place. And it is the most annoying thing. Because instead of just placing these utilities and getting on with building more stuff or planning more stuff or whatever it is I might want to do, I have to sit and micromanage what's probably the most boring part of the game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's essential. It's like placing power lines in City Skylines 1 or, you know, not so much City Skylines 2 as much, but you get the idea. Like, it is an important thing to do. It is a fundamental part of running your prison, is making sure you have utilities and good utility coverage. But again, like here, right? There's a little gap here where on this side I have hot water cables, no problem. On this side, for no reason whatsoever, it's forgotten two of them. And it just does this. And I just don't know why. And it has, oh my God, this camera thing too, really, it just goes. I love this game. I do. I wasn't 100% sure about coming back to Prison Architect, because part of me was like, oh, am I still going to enjoy it? Is it still fun? Is it something people are going to enjoy watching on YouTube in 2026? And it absolutely is. Like, it's absolutely blown me away with how excited you all seem to be with Prison Architect, and I love it. I love that we've been, you know, going back and forth with the comments, the feedback, and all that stuff. I love it. But there are some bugs that for some reason were just never fixed or addressed or figured out. And once again, I just wish, like, someone, I don't even know what studio at Paradox would be dealing with Prison Architect 1 now, because I think City Skylines 1 is handled by a different studio. I think it's Tantalus do City Skylines 1, and then Ice Flake are the guys on City Skylines 2. I've no idea who would be doing stuff for Prison Architect 1 at Paradox, but I wish they would go to some studio and be like, here's some money, here's 6 months, fix like this stuff. I doubt, you know, Prison Architect is selling all that much. I doubt it would make business sense these days. You know, I imagine most people that wanted to play Prison Architect have bought it years ago. So I totally understand why they will never do that. But I've said this before. I realize I'm ranting about something I've already talked about. I apologize. But it's just really frustrating. Like, you're building something and it's like, no, we forgot about it. Never mind. It's just like, it's such a little thing, but it's also such a huge thing. Does that make sense? Like, it shouldn't be as big a deal as it is. Actually, you know what? It should be. It's really annoying. I'm not gonna backtrack. It's really annoying. Anyway, we have most of our lights in here now, which is fantastic news. Obviously, we still don't have most of the walls that we would need in here, but we're making progress. What we aren't making is a lot of money. So I'm gonna go down to exports here, and I'm gonna prioritize whatever this is, which I'm pretty sure is just moving stuff into exports. It might be a little bit of cleaning, but for the most part, I'm gonna move a bunch of stuff in there, and then I'm just gonna sell it, because I don't feel bad about selling anything that's in exports just directly. Also, we are making superior beds which is a cool thing. We do have carpenters that are now making superior beds for us, so we do get a nice amount of money from those. So hopefully we can fill up this exports room. I mean, the bed is worth $680. These planks, I really have no idea how much they're necessarily going to be worth, but this should be good. We should get some decent money out of this. We have a lot of logs coming down here, which are worth like $255, $425. This should make enough money to finish the maximum security prison. Not sure we're gonna have enough money to get all of the guards, especially the armed guards that we're gonna need, and the door servos, but we'll figure it out, is what we'll do. We will figure it out. Let me go into objects here. Let me go to sell objects. And how much are we looking at for all of this? $38,000. You know what? We might be okay. We might be all right. Let's get ourselves some walls and let's start to fill out this space. So I think the easiest way to do this is probably the white walls. I feel like the white walls are kind of the way to go. So let's do white walls here. And just because I want to be fancy, I'm going to do some of the max sec walls there. Just for a little bit of, yeah, you know what? I really like the idea of these red walls, just the entire length of that central corridor. It's so unnecessary, but it's going to look pretty cool. Okay, now hold on a second. How has this happened? Why are we letting prisoners out here to clean? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 10 of them trying to escape. No, I don't think so. I'm gonna try a little something here. We're gonna put some guards over that way, hopefully, and catch some of them. That's the idea anyway. Hopefully, yeah, we've caught. Oh no. Why would you tase him in the water? Oh, that's not helping. That's not. Okay, look, the 7, 8, 9, 10 escapes today, not ideal. Tasing them in the water, also, funnily enough, not ideal. Let me make sure this entire place is set to staff only, because that's why we have people going over here. They're trying to clean, and I would prefer that they didn't. So let's just make sure that they're not going to be doing that. Some of them will go over there, and they will probably try to escape as well. Oh my God, seriously? Oh, wait, what are you doing? No. I don't think so. Yeah, opportunistic little so-and-so. There's no way I'm getting guards over there in time. But I'm gonna try. We might get one of them. Oh no, he drowned. Okay. So not ideal is what we've learned. Well, I mean, look, we don't need this space to be open here anymore. We can kind of change this a little bit. We can like we have offices in here that can be swapped out for something else. I'm not really too concerned about swapping this out to be a bunch of stuff today. But what I would like to do, you know, what I think might be a good idea, even if it's a temporary thing, is a perimeter wall right there. And then maybe demolishing these. In fact, let's demolish stuff first, because that probably makes the most sense. We want to demolish all of this. We want to dismantle all of these lights, and probably these lights as well. And just clear sort of all of that out. We can do some perimeter walls, I guess, here. And then we'll have perimeter walls coming all the way down to here as well. I'm leaving that gap so I can just take away some of the terrain that we have out there, so we can just tidy things up a little bit. I would like to do my usual running track there. I would like to sell all of the flooring that we have out here to get a little bit of money back. That seems like a great idea. There we go. Bit of money back for that is not bad at all. And then I guess we'll also need to landscape a little bit and just put a whole bunch of water out there. And that'll hopefully help us out. That'll hopefully stop prisoners from escaping quite as easily as they have been. Where are all of those guards? How are they still not? Where are they coming from? What are you doing? Wait, there's not even a guard there. You know what? It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Okay, so most of the rooms are now in here. They obviously don't have their furniture yet. And while doing this, it hit me that I once again forgot something. I forgot solitary. So I figure we can use this little space down here. We can sort of come in off of that corridor, and this will give us a little bit of solitary. It does mean that we'll need to come out and around here with our perimeter walls. That should be fine, though. I think we can get away with doing that. So let me just put some sand right about there. Let me go and demolish the bits of perimeter wall that we don't need. And let's make all of that a priority, because I'd like to get this place up and going sooner than later. This building things like this, I mean, it's cool. I like it. I think it looks great. I think it's going to work great. But man, it takes time. It takes it takes longer than it really. I mean, it makes sense that it takes a while, but a lot of the time building things is just spent staring at it. It's not spent actually doing anything. A whole lot of waiting around. That's basically the entire thing. Let me dismantle all of those trees and make that a bit of a priority as well. We'll get some money out of that, which is going to be absolutely lovely. And there we go. We have our solitary space down here. We also have $112,000, which means I think we need to get started on the cells up here. So let's take a look and see what exactly we would need for the cells. I've got to be honest, part of me is actually tempted to go right back to where we started and do some dormitories. So if we wanted to do bunk beds in here, we could, right off the bat, get 60 maximum security inmates. I don't know how thrilled they're going to be about sharing cells, but part of me really likes the idea of just finding out. Part of me wants to find out just sort of how that goes. So we're going to have some fun here. And by fun, I mean, this is potentially going to go really badly, and I might be left with 30 extra inmates that I need to get rid of somehow. We'll figure that out. I like this as an idea. I think if we make the cells as pleasant as possible, we might be able to get away with this. So obviously, you know, chairs and TVs and things like that. We can give them, I don't know what else. I guess the usual. Not that. A toilet that way. A shower just above it. They can have a drain right there. The problem with this, though, is I'm relatively sure that, no, hold on. Didn't we run into a problem where when you have a bunk bed, there's not enough time for both of them to shower? I don't remember. You know what? I think we're just going to find out. I do. I think we're just going to find out. This might be a really bad idea, but I think I kind of just want to find out. That's kind of where I'm at with this. So yeah, they can have some books over here. They've got their TV, they've got their chair, they got their shower, their toilet, and their drain. That should be fine. I can't really give them a chest tape. It doesn't do much for a cell. A fan does do good for a cell, though. Well, and a dormitory as well. So let's do a fan right there, actually, and then we'll put the bookshelf kind of next to the toilet for some light reading, I guess. Oh, now this is really starting to come together. I decided to change up the floor material a little bit from what we usually do. Usually it's mosaic tiles inside of the cells, but this time around I decided to use the concrete tiles with sort of the little yellow stripe because I thought it looked kind of cool. We're going to be doing something similar in this middle area as well, just to sort of have a bit more of a rough vibe to the whole thing, and I'm quite happy about it. I think this is going to look really, really good when it's done. We're almost there as well, which is so exciting. We're so close to being able to open the prison to maximum security inmates. I should mention, I have gone ahead and set the solitary down here as available to maximum security inmates, so we do have some that are being escorted over here. Obviously, there is still a ton of work to do. We have all of the door servos to put in here. We have to furnish all of the rooms, but I would say that we're kind of over the bulk of the work, and well, let's start figuring out servos and security. Now, I think the easiest way to do things will be 2 door control systems. I think that's going to be really, really important. I think we can do a security desk or just a regular desk right there with a swivel chair right about there. We'll do some filing cabinets here. I guess just there is probably fine for the filing cabinet, and that'll be everything we need for that security room. I do think the door control systems need a direct line to power, so we'll just do something like this to make sure that they do in fact get that. And then for everything else, well, now we need the door servos. now we need to do a bit of the tedious work here, which is always interesting. So we'll put those there, put those ones there. That's that little space sorted out. I did decide to do this double door thing the entire way through the middle, which I know means more servos, but I think it looks so much better. I really do. I think it looks great. I absolutely love the look of the double doors in there. We'll get a door servo over here as well. We will need servos for our canteen. We will need servos for our cleaning cupboard / laundry room. I don't remember which one that is. Servos here and here as well. And then over this way, I probably don't need servos for solitary, but we'll do it anyway because I know we will have inmates down there cleaning. So probably makes a bit of sense to do that, to let them in there nice and easily. And I think that's about all of the door servos that we're going to need. What we are going to be missing is a set of metal detectors in this spot, I guess, and this spot, which should be totally fine. We can also do them here and here and here and up here and up here and up here and the entire way across this side as well. Now, these are obviously kind of expensive. We can afford it, but this is really going to make sure that no one is going anywhere, either to their cells or from their cells, without going through a metal detector. It's going to be the same story in here, going to the parole rooms, and it'll be the same story going to visitation as well, just to make sure that no one is going anywhere without going through some kind of metal detector, and that should keep us pretty good. Now, I would also like to make sure that we do in fact have some doors in these spaces as well, so I can sort of designate guards to specific areas without too much trouble. So we'll put some doors kind of around a little something like this. We'll have some doors up at the top of this space as well. And then for the middle, I was actually kind of thinking that something we could maybe do is go in with some of these concrete tiles and sort of do some kind of little pattern in here that hopefully doesn't look absolutely terrible. But the reason I wanted to do this pattern is because I was kind of thinking we could do some phone booths in here, and that it might look sort of interesting to have them sort of down the middle of the cell blocks rather than in the common room or the yards. I've got no idea if the prisoners will use them, but I think it could look cool because we do otherwise just have a big open area with nothing to do. So that might be good for us, and that might work out nicely. It might not. It might be useless, but we'll find out. Okay, so we are so close to bringing in a bunch of maximum security inmates to this new prison. We've got a bunch of the dormitories already good to go. They just need to be assigned as dormitories. And you might notice we do have the occasional armed guard roaming around. That is absolutely on purpose. If we go down a little bit, we have some patrolling the workshop. We have some patrolling this main corridor. We have some guards stationed in the parole rooms. We have more armed guards down this way. And basically all of our deployments for guards, for the most part, are done. There will almost certainly be some problems. There will almost certainly be some spots that I've missed, but I'm thinking we're pretty we're pretty good to go with this. So what that means is that it's now time to go into rooms and search for dormitory. And we're going to say these are all going to be dormitories. These are all going to be dormitories. So are these guys. And so are these guys. And that is going to give us room currently for 282 prisoners, which is just ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. And I'm sort of looking forward to this. What we do need to do, of course, is go to max sec and say that these are going to be maximum security cells. So are all of these guys. So are all of these guys. And then we can go in and say, this is maximum security. So is this space. So is this space. We do have some staff only corridors on the side, which I'm totally okay with. This will be maximum security, as will this corridor, this chapel, cleaning cupboard, corridor, parole room, this, no, not that part of visitation, that part of visitation, but we'll fix that in just a second. We're also misclicking a little bit in there, but that's fine. That should all be okay. What we can now do is make sure that this is staff only and that this is visitor only. So all of this space through to about, not there, no, absolutely not. All of this space through here is going to be visitor only. A little bit of staff only there as well is going to be good for us. And then of course on this side, the same thing. We want to do maximum security over here and here, laundry room as well. And I think that's about everything. I think that's about all the space. I think that's about all the space that we need to set up for this. So what I would now like to do is go into our programs, edit our schedule, and I would like to find our maximum security parole rooms, which should be in here somewhere. We have these maximum security common rooms as well, now that I think about it. So what can we do in there? We can do alcoholics group therapy. That'll be good. We can do the 3 strikes program as well. That'll be good. We'll get those going. What else do we have? We have max sec parole. So let's get all of these going. So we can hopefully get through a good number of these inmates and have a regular bunch of them coming into the prison. That'll be great. We have the max sec chapel. So we'll do spiritual guidance because that's going to be important. And I think that's about everything for now. We do have these minsec yards with breathing therapy. I don't know what we need for that, but sure, that's all right. We'll leave those alone for now. That's a really good looking block of parole hearings there. I'm very, very happy with that. It's I'm very, very happy with that. The fight club is in here as well. That's interesting. We have the protective custody yard. We have all these offices, these shared yards. Shared yards? Where's the shared yard? It is this is shared? It is. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be MinSac only. Thank you very much. And I guess now that we have all of these cells, in theory, any maximum security prisoners that we have over here should get escorted to their cells. Because what I would like to do is now go in and make sure that this is all, once again, medium security only. It doesn't need to be shared. It doesn't need to work that way anymore. It is MedSec only, so is this. And so these guys, I think, should get escorted to their cells, as should all of these guys as well. There's quite a few of them that are going to need to be moved to theirs. There we go. Now they're to be escorted to dormitories. Perfect. That is what we want to see. And we already have some in here as well, which is great. I'm so excited for this because what we can now do is go to intake and open things up to maximum security. We got $1,000 per maximum security inmate. I don't know how quickly or slowly they're going to filter through. We do have 20 prisoners arriving here tomorrow, so that could be a little bit more than that. There's definitely possibilities there. But we now have capacity for 58, soon to be 60 maximum security inmates. So that's going to be good. That's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to getting this place just full of prisoners and full of activity, and hopefully it doesn't fall apart as soon as as soon as things get going. We do, thankfully, have a good number of people running around. And I think what I'm going to do is actually say that free fire is enabled in... Do I want to have free fire enabled in the maximum security prison right now? I don't know. I'm going to say no for now, actually. I think that's probably fine. I think that's maybe... I'm assuming the worst. I'm going to assume the best. Never mind. They're already... They're already over here causing trouble. Great. Perfect. That's just what we want. Okay, well, it could have been worse. I guess it could have been worse. Now, I have just gone ahead and hired 4 cooks right here because I realize it's probably not a bad idea to, number 1, make sure that this is staff only, which it is, and number 2, assign some cooks to this space pretty much all the time. So I hired 4. I think we'll just put 4 in here at all times to make sure that we're going to be able to feed everybody, because that's going to be kind of important. Right up to about there, right up to about, no, that's not what I want. Right about there. That should be totally fine. That should work out. That should make sure that everyone does in fact get fed, which is what we're looking for. And I kind of love this. I do. I'm really, really pleased with this. I'm curious to see how it works out. Very curious about that. But so far, so good. I do hear a taser going off, which is not exactly ideal. They're also going to be cold. Now that I think about it, we totally, once again, forgot. I say we, me, totally forgot to put radiators in here. So let's just go ahead. We'll get some radiators in a few of these spaces just to warm the place up a little bit. We'll go for there. We'll go for there. We'll go for here, and right about there. We'll come down a little bit further to this spot and this spot, and I want to say here and here. I realize we don't actually have the range on our hot water boiler to make this work, but I might be able to do something about that. We do have a little space up here, which I'm thinking could be perfect for a hot water boiler. And then it will need some water coming over this way, but that's fine. We can make that happen as well. You know, I'm starting to think we might need an infirmary out here because this guy's injured and he's just been laying there for a while with nothing really being done. So I kind of wonder, we could set an infirmary over here to be shared, and then I think we would have to escort him back to his cell, which I don't necessarily want to do, but I also don't know if I want to build an infirmary right now. Let me see how big an infirmary has to be. It is, oh, there's no minimum size. Okay. In that case, I'm going to take over part of this, this cleaning cupboard. I think we can probably get away with that. We could go about this size and get 2 beds in there. I think that'll be fine. We can do a nice little, I guess, white wall to divide these guys. So right about there should be totally fine as well. We'll go ahead and prioritize that. And then for a door to get into the infirmary, I think we just do one in the middle, because that should be fine. And of course, we'll need some medical beds. In this case, we could, well, we could get 4. And I think given the size of the amount of prisoners in here and their tendency for violence, that's probably going to be a good idea. So let's just prioritize building all of that. The walls are prioritized as well. And that'll hopefully mean that if and when someone gets injured, they don't just lay on the ground for hours on end, because that guy's been there for, he's been there for a while. He's definitely been there for a while. Now, in other news, we are just about to receive our first delivery of maximum security prisoners, or at least we should be about to receive our first delivery of maximum security prisoners. They have turned up in helicopter. That was, man, I thought they were going to come in by, I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, we didn't set these helicopters to not bring prisoners in. Sure, there we go. I was trying to be all dramatic with like the HUD off and the boats coming in, but apparently that's not the case. We do get a nice amount of money for this though, which is great. And I'm kind of thinking we might actually want to see, can we get, no, we can't get any confidential informants there. I would like to activate some of my CIs just to see if we can find anyone else that's going to be targeted. Let me also recruit you. Why does it sound like there's something going on over here? No, I think we're good. Do we have any potential CIs up this way? We do not. We do have a new potential CI over here, though. So I will absolutely recruit you as well. And once one of them gets into a security room, which might take a second because we're going to be escorting a bunch of new prisoners, we will hopefully get an idea on the current... Aha. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So we have 11 protective custody inmates right now. We have room for 13. You're a snitch. Unfortunately, buddy, that might not be enough to get you into protective custody. You're ex-law enforcement. So, yes. I feel like ex-law is probably more likely to get murdered. And then we have 2 snitches here. What did you do? Bribery and forgery. And then you did possession. I'd say you're probably more likely to be in danger being in mid-sec, so that'll be all right. No one over here is necessarily being targeted. Oh boy. Oh, that's rough. You're a min-sec snitch. You're a maximum security. You're not gonna be here for long. I hate to tell you, buddy, but you are not gonna be here for long. Your days, in the kindest way I can put it, are very much numbered. Anyway, all things considered, I think this place is looking pretty decent. Obviously, we have a little bit of work still to do with it. We have some changes that we might want to make. We might want to get more guards and patrols in here, but we do now have a maximum security prison. I might build a holding cell on this just in case we happen to get a delivery of more maximum security prisoners than we can handle, but I'm very, very happy about this. I think the next steps going forward will probably be to kind of perfect this thing, get everything in here that we're going to need, maybe some classrooms and things like that, maybe some meeting rooms so they can have their group therapies and their education and whatnot, because I think that's going to be important. And if we can get everything under control and keep everything under control, we can get some more cells in here. I'm not expecting to go too crazy with that, but we can definitely get some more prisoners in here. And then we'll probably turn this island over here on the right into some kind of supermax facility, because that's kind of the next step from where we are, which would leave probably this island over here on the far left to be our death row. We do also have criminally insane as an option. We could bring in some criminally insane inmates, and that would give us this island as well. After that, I'm not really too sure. We have options. We can expand the map and get more islands, but I might set my goal to just be that we have a facility for every type of prisoner, because I feel like beyond criminally insane, once we have our supermax, our death row, and criminally insane, we would just be retreading a lot of old ground. So I think we're making good progress. I think we're going to continue to make really good progress. I'm going to try and not drag this series out over the course of the next 6 months, because there are some other games I have my eyes on, including this little game called City Skylines that I've been talking about getting back into, City Skylines 2 specifically, that I've been talking about getting back into for the last 6 months and have yet to do that. So that's a little something as well. But yeah, I think we have a lot still to do, obviously, you know, Supermax, Death Row, criminally insane. Like there is still a lot to manage there. So we're going to be here for a while. I'm not saying that like the next episode or the one after that's the end of the series. It's not that. I'm just, the end is starting to just rear its head over the horizon a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's gonna do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.